This is the Secure Podcast, your podcast for all things love,
family,
entrepreneurship,
and the life that happens in between.
Good morning. We are the Griffins. I am Dr. Denitra Griffin.
And I am John Griffin Jr.
And we're excited to have you today, G-Tribe. We have our G6 tribe here today for the podcast. We have our oldest son,
John Griffin III.
John Griffin III. Our oldest daughter,
Nia Amani.
Nigeria Griffin
is the baby girl, and
Jabril Amon Griffin
is the baby boy. So we're excited today,
Absolutely.
G-Tribe, to share the perspectives, what questions our children have of us that will benefit the listeners today. The episode, season 2, episode 1, will discuss passing the wealth baton.
Absolutely.
It is 2020, and our 4Ps are excited to kind of share their perspectives. We're going to, before we jump right into the story, you know what's traditional, and that is the quote for the day. So, John.
Quote of the day comes from the great, late Dr. Clay Evans.
Come on.
And he said that God does not call upon you unless he equips you.
Okay.
So he doesn't call you to service for him unless he gives you the equipment you need to be successful.
I agree.
That's the quote today.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of truth to that.
A lot of truth to that.
Right. It's like, you can't really, if you're giving the dream, then you have an obligation to do it and the skill set to produce it.
Absolutely.
So God does not give you.
He was a great man. He does not give you, Clay Evans is a very good man, and he does not call upon you unless he equips you.
Absolutely.
So oftentimes think about that when I'm going through my trials and tribulations in life.
Right, yeah. So our episode today is right in alignment with that quote because we're talking about passing the wealth baton. John and I have kind of shared in past episodes, strategies and interventions that we've put in place in order to be first generational wealth builders.
Absolutely.
And we understand that sometimes, the goal is to make sure that we're passing that intellectual capital on to the next generation so it can really become a part of our lineage.
Right.
And so that's why we have our children here today. So we can kind of hear from them. It'll be a 2-part episode. First, they'll ask us questions, and then we'll lead into asking them questions.
Dr. Griffin, can I say something?
Yeah. How about it?
I was reading on Facebook article by the former Labor Secretary, Robert Welch, I believe. He said that over 60% of wealth is inherited. He said that. So that means that this bootstrapping in America, pick yourself up by the bootstraps and make your own wealth, most wealth is passed down to generations. So I think that what we're trying to do with our children and our great-grandchildren and grandchildren is to make sure that we pass wealth on to them in the proper way so they can take it to the next level.
That's right. So we'll begin with hearing questions from our personal tribe, our G6 tribe, to share with our G tribe out there.
Okay, so I'll start. What are the phases of entrepreneurship and how did we fit that in the picture? Again, what are the phases of entrepreneurship and how do we fit in that picture?
How did you guys fit in that picture?
Yes, how do we fit in that picture?
So it kind of starts with the premise of entrepreneurship. So John, you want to take us back to that day?
So, as you know, you guys, we
it's a lot of y'all.
It's a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all. So, as I said in episode 1, I looked at my paycheck and I said, how I'm going to pay for college and all these kids. And I didn't want you guys to go through what Mom and I went through with student loans and all that. Taking out student loans for graduate school, undergrad, and
excessive
student loans. And I thought that I needed to do something to help my income. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to start a business. Well, my best friend, Milton Brown, my frat brother, said, well, John, you need to start a business because the most important attribute you have is your time. So I came to Dr. Griffin. She said, yeah, we should do that. So it started totally on the premise of making sure I have enough income to send you guys to college. Yeah, I had a very good job. There's nothing wrong working a job, and but I wanted to start. So the phases of entrepreneurship, baby girl, Nigeria Griffin, is first to start with a thought. The thought. And then I mentioned in podcast 1, there comes motion.
Yeah.
And the second thing is order. So motion was, I had a thought, let me take the test, let me get research, let me find out what I need to do in order to become a security professional.
Right.
And then the action came by actually pursuing that. Again, I failed the first time. I showed my son John. Remember John? What did I get on that test, John?
69.
63.
63.
I was like, oh. I said, oh God. I said, I'm kind of, because I didn't study. But when I studied, what did I get? You remember?
96.
Yep. And I studied, I got it. Because I was like, I'm smart. So that's the action. The order became when my spouse, your mother, began to put order to the business. And what she did, your mom, she's very orderly. She's like, oh, that's cute, but let's make sure we have everything in line. So, again, one of my alpha mentors taught me that if you have a vision or passion, you must have a woman with vision. So for you sons, if you have a vision, a passion of something, your wife must have a vision. Ladies, you give order to your husbands.
But even before the I think that there was still in our family, before the birth of AGB, there still was the vision of being able to create wealth for you guys.
Right.
And so before AGB,
Real estate.
we had real estate.
Yep.
And so we invested into real estate, which is the building on 76th Street and the building on 71st Street. And the goal was this will pay for, because Najee and Jabril weren't born yet.
Right.
So the goal was for 76th Street to pay for John's tuition, college tuition, and 71st Street was to pay for Nia's college tuition. So we were already, progressive in our thinking in what are we going to give or have for our children so that they're able to benefit from it, whether it was college education or whether it was having a healthy portfolio of assets to pass down to the family. And so we were also, when you said like, where do you guys fit? I think it was also to be a model to show you, here are the different avenues, entrepreneurship, real estate, home ownership,
We have mutual funds.
and entrepreneurship and investments. So and the
Investments.
life insurance policies and stuff. So we were trying to show you guys at a very early age of what that looks like. So it was also to be a model for you. So
You got it?
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. John.
So I'll go. College is controversial. There's a lot of talk about college being relevant. College is not easy feat for you two. You had me, and I had the pleasure of being on this journey with you. Why do you stress college, and what tools did you put in place to ensure we are prepared for college?
So I'll begin. Son, college is controversial. It is. Because I really believe that college is not for everyone. Denitra and I, Dr. Griffin, your mom and I decided that, we were where we were because of college. And we thought at the time that we were successful because our education. In fact, the only reason why I ended up at State's Attorney's Office was because I had education. I wouldn't have never got there because I got there by accident. They meant to hire another John Griffin, and they hired me instead. But they tried to disqualify me because if I didn't have my degree, I would have been disqualified. So that started me on a trajectory of understanding that, hey, college tuition, college education is very important. So I do not believe that now. I believe differently. But we have decided that this family will be educated, and we will make sure you guys get post education as well. But I really want you to understand that education is the great equalizer. And once you acquire knowledge and skill, no one can take that from you. No one. But I now think that college is not the only place you can get that. It could be a trade school. It could be, that's a skill with your hands.
So, do you believe that if you didn't get your college degree, that you would still be in the same position that you are now in terms of AGB and financially?
I do not. I think that for me and my career path, education has benefited me. I would not have been in a position to, because with my education, with a bachelor's degree, I was able to take the test to become a security contractor, because it says if you have 1 year college, you only need, everything else was forfeited. If I didn't have college, you need to have 5 years of experience and all this stuff. So college helped me, propel me. And college really teaches you a discipline. It teaches you to be disciplined. It teaches you got to finish a curriculum. And it's rigorous. So you got to understand that, and it makes you, grow and meet new people and understand all the dynamics and all that. So it's good. And you meet your wife, husbands. What's your theory?
Right, so
she has a theory.
I do. College is very important. I think it's a way, not the way. College is a way, not the way, because especially in this day and age, we kind of see what happens in Silicon Valley. They go to college and is highlighted or revered that when people drop out and then they become this billionaire or millionaire. But
say that.
Right, so
like you say, were they lucky? So like the Facebook founders or the Microsoft, they didn't go to college, they dropped out.
Right.
But now they're billionaires.
Right.
So what do you say in terms of that scenario?
Well, so like I said, it's not the way. College is a way to success, because someone can have a flip perspective of that. Like, could say, because I went to college and done these things and learned this technical skill and met this network of people, and I think we undervalue relationships. So what college also does for you, as we look at the prominent features of alumni and alumni associations and endowments at colleges and universities that are funded by alumni, right? And so I think we undervalue the relationships and the people network that is offered to you on a college campus. Not that you can't get that anywhere else, but that is an opportunity for you to be around people who have a like mind, like interest, who are progressive thinkers or the contrary, like you or contrary to you. But I just think it's a microcosm of the universe.
It is.
And so
That's
you
right.
get relationship experience, you get
rigor,
just democracy, because it happens on a college campus. Diversity. And so it does, there's a lot of value there that's not just attributed to academics. So that's why I, pushed college for all of you. But I will also say that when we talk about the tools that we put in place, before you went to college, it was important to me that I studied kind of each of your behaviors and listened to what you enjoyed doing.
That's right. And
presented you opportunities to get a snapshot of what that exposure would look like. So for you were interested in architect, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you were in college, we made sure that you got internships. And even if it wasn't a paid internship, we made sure that you volunteered.
That's right.
And that you had the exposure. When you decided to switch your major and go into business, we made sure that you stayed fully immersed in the business so you can see the basic operational aspect of the business. Nia, you were daycare. I had you at daycares. Najia, science. You were all in science and medical programs. Jabril,
coding.
Computer science. You were all in coding and
That's
different
right.
computer science. So it was important to me that in preparation for college that you guys get that experience and exposure. And you're still free to change your mind. But at least you've gotten a snapshot of what that looks like. And so the intent is, again, to be able to afford you those opportunities so that you can pass those practices on to your offspring.
So we were talking to a young man before, Denise and I, we were young. I think Jabril was, I think John was the only one, is John the third. And the guy told Denise and I, he said, make sure your kids into quality programs.
Yep, he sure did.
He said quality programs helped me get into Dartmouth, helped me go to get my MBA. He was a very articulate guy, so we said, okay.
And very young.
He was young, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Jabril, did you have something to say? I know you talk about HBCUs and PWIs. What do you have to ask?
Yes, because we were on the college topic, so this actually crossed my mind. But I wanted to ask, like, why do you encourage us to attend HBCUs rather than PWIs? Because I know you two went to DePaul, and I remember, Dad, you told me that, like, you wanted to go to HBCU, but you couldn't. So I'm wondering, like, why, or what's the story behind that, and why? Sorry, but what's the story behind that, and why do you encourage us to go to HBCUs?
So I think that there's a misnomer that HBCUs do not prepare you. When I was at DePaul University, unfortunately, I wanted to be a doctor. And my test scores were such that I was not able to test very well into programming. And my counselor told me clear as day, she said, John, I looked at your entrance test scores and they're very low. And usually doctors test high. And she said, I'm going to put you into genetics class and see how you do in that class. And I was 18, 19 years old. She already framed my thinking that I was a kid from Inglewood. So I didn't have that. And my mom was a single parent. My dad was always around, but he wasn't in my life like that. And I didn't have the experience to understand, no, you can't be successful. So I went into the genetics class. It was 100 students. It was an auditorium. And the first test I got a 12. On the first test, a 12.
A 12 out of 100?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, excuse me, sir.
So needless to say, what I did was I began to, I ended up dropping the class. I dropped the class. And I dropped the class. and I changed my major. I want to be a doctor because my brother Jermaine Shabu, Uncle Shabu, he tore his ankle up, and I used to say, I went to the doctor with him. I said, one day I'm going to help people, fix people. And I was so discouraged, and I was like, wow. As I became older, became educated, I became a father, I became a Muslim, I became an alpha man. I began to understand that accept your own and be yourself. And I began to understand that I wanted my kids to go to elite black schools, Spelman, Morehouse, Hampton, Howard, these black schools where they can get quality education and people look like them can encourage them to say, no, you can do this. John, you had experience at Hampton when you wanted to be an architect, and the head of the architectural department took you around. Took you around. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
He took you around. You couldn't get that from a PWI. People like, what? You want, okay. You get it or you don't. So I want to make sure, and it, in my opinion, and Dr. Griffin going to speak next, but in my opinion, it is an extension of me. If you go to Morehouse, Hampton, or Howard, then that's extension of me, your mom. So, Najee's at Spelman, #1 HBCU in the country. They love and they preach excellence. And you see women that look like you, like your mother that's doing well. You say you can inspire, you can look and see That's something for my children.
And I think that is worth mentioning that that's our preference. And there are many perspectives out there because some of the hesitation is that sometimes HBCUs can't support many kids. And, because this generation is more savvy as it relates to student loans, like they don't want to take the student loans, and sometimes our HBCUs are not in the position to give as many scholarships as some of our PWIs. But I think from a wealth building perspective for me, it's about circulating the black dollar. And so I explained to each of you that you can go to a PWI. My money is going to a HBCU. But if you want to go to a PWI, what do you need to do? What do you need to do?
Get scholarships.
You got to get scholarships. They need to pay for you to be there. Why? Because I know the value of each of you, and I know what you would offer that university. And when you get one of the Griffin children, you get our entire family. So that means that we're active. So you get our time, you get our financial resources, you get our endorsements. And so if they can't pay for you to be there, then my money's going to a HBCU.
That's right. That's right.
So I am, with pride, openly write the checks to historically black colleges and universities because I am circulating the black dollar with our black people.
And we teach you guys to contribute to your universities.
Right. What I asked you guys to do for me for Mother's Day last year.
Donate $50 to our college or university or a future college or university.
Yep. So instead of giving me a gift, you give to your alumni.
That's right.
You give to your school.
That's right.
So you can understand what you're doing, like the money that you earn, the money that you make. Don't gift me. I'll be fine. But give to...
She be fine because she got me.
Hello.
She got Big Daddy over here. She's
Debit card, Amex, right here.
She got me.
But yeah, so that's what I want you guys to kind of think about. But when we talk about the cost of education, we know that your generation is a little bit more savvy than ours.
Yeah.
As it relates to student loans, right, John?
Yes. Student loans. How did you pay off your student loan debt as an entrepreneur?
So I was very blessed we were very blessed to do well in AGB. So there's no way around it. I just took monies and I just paid my loans. I mean, I earned, Denitra and I earn a good enough salary to afford to pay you guys tuition, save money, and pay our bills. I'm happy to say I have no debt, no credit card debt, no student loan debt. And
but it takes discipline.
Discipline, because I don't believe in the debt we have is on our properties. Things that's gonna generate income, but there's no way around it. You just got to pay, and I didn't want you guys to be burdened with debt. I want you guys to be free because you don't know the blessing it is to leave college debtless. That is a blessing, and most of our colleagues, can't say that. I felt good. We went to a Morehouse event, and they said 87% of Morehouse men are on financial aid. And my son looked at me, Jabril, and I said, "Son, you got to worry about that."
Yeah.
I said, "You got to worry. That's a blessing."
Right.
I said, "Daddy got you. Mom and Daddy got you. You got to worry about that."
Yeah.
That made me feel so bad. I was like,
and that's what entrepreneurship.
My chest went out like that. I was like,
that's what entrepreneurship have awarded you. But even before that time, when we talk about how to kind of eliminate those debts,
let's take discipline.
Yeah, and so I think that first of all, you have to make it a priority to want to pay it off. And
because I was like, I ain't never paying mine off. They gotta catch me.
I was like, I'm going out with mine. but
you gotta catch me.
But I think we need to educate people, because sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
And you have to borrow responsibly.
See, I didn't know how to borrow.
But we didn't know how.
Yeah.
But when John III went to Hampton,
yeah,
we had saved up money in his 529.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but it was enough at least to give us the jump start.
That's correct.
For the first semester or first year, I can't remember. And then he was able to get scholarships. He got the left-hand scholarships.
Chris Gardner scholarship?
He got a Chris Gardner scholarship. So he was able, like the first year was pretty much taken care of. But we wanted John to invest in his education because we hadn't seen a certain level of maturity.
Right.
And so we had him to borrow responsibly. And so what he didn't know, and I don't know if you remember, you called and asked me, but it was a certain time of the year at Hampton, and you saw folks walking around with new clothes and new shoes, new gym shoes, and you said, "Mom, what's a refund check?"
He said, "What's a link card?"
Right. He didn't know what those things were, but I had to explain to him. Right. I had to explain to him that you only borrowed what you need, not in excess.
Yeah.
And so people were borrowing in excess and getting the difference. And that's how one of the ways and how we incur excessive amount of student loan debt.
Another thing we did, Dr. Griffin, that you're not mentioning, and G-Tribe is very important. We taught our sons and daughters about credit.
Yeah.
Because in college, I got like 18 credit cards, because I was like, it was given to me free. So John would call and say, hey, what should I do? And we made sure we got a American Express card. And, today he's a homeowner.
Yeah.
A young man, he bought a home, and that made us feel so proud, which we celebrated Christmas at his house.
Yeah.
And we felt so proud because we made sure that he didn't mess up his credit. Same with baby girl, same with Nia. We make sure that they understand credit. It's very important.
So here's something else that I want to share that we didn't know when John and Nia were younger, but we started it with Nigeria. When you turn 18 years old, you can open up a retirement account.
Yeah.
And so you began to start building your retirement savings even at the age of 18.
Baby girl
And
got
so
one.
Nigeria has one.
Yeah.
John was able to get one as he got older, as he became an employee with the company. But as a college student at the age of 18,
yes,
you can open a retirement savings account.
Yes.
So you can, even if it's just $20, you can start putting that money, start saving towards retirement. And we didn't know that, when the older two were 18.
I tell you, there's a phenomenon called compound interest.
Yes.
Compound interest coupled with time is a wonderful thing. So we know that even if we leave nothing to these children, and God forbid, that they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because they understand the principles of investing.
Yep. So even as we continue to talk about passing the wealth baton, and we, are hopeful that how we've modeled our lives, the conversations that we've had, the experiences that you guys have had, you are able to own these strategies and interventions and, adopt them for yourselves to pass on to your children. So I want to just take a moment of personal privilege to introduce Nia, because we've been kind of talking about John, Najia, and Jabril, but Nia has a special story, and it shows that regardless of where your kids are or their capacity, what you do and what you say still has an impact on them.
Absolutely.
And so Nia, if you don't mind me sharing, Nia is our oldest daughter. She's 24 years old. Nia is a young adult with special needs. She's highly functional. She has a cognitive impairment and have different abilities. And so she has successfully completed high school and has gone on to a program that's at a university here in Chicago that focuses on being an independent living adult. Right. And so even with her different abilities, Nia, I want you to share with G Tribe, like, what has been your interest? What are some of your personal goals that you have as a result of what you've learned from us?
So, growing up, with a private family, I learned how to be an independent young woman like my mother. I learned how to balance my money more, save up, just say, okay, Nia, we're going to help you with your retirement. I also know for my sister had to be polite to people, not to be so evil, so thank you. I also learned that the PACE program had also taught me how to budget, grocery shop, and live on my own. Like my mom said, I am 24 years old. I have dreams that hopefully will come true. Like my parents said, that they started a business called AGB, Investigative Services. Mm-hmm. So I want to start my own daycare business, because growing up, I always loved my family. I love watching my two little siblings go, even though they were bad and get my last nose. But I love them to death, and I would do anything to keep them safe. I also want to open my own daycare because God gave me a passion to help others. Mm-hmm. And helping others is something that I always want to do. Like my dad always said, that God gave you a passion to help others, and that's something that I want to do. I also wrote a book about my life and what I went through as a kid. But whatever I went through, anybody can do it. Nobody's special in this world. Mm-hmm. I can ride a bike now. I can get on a metro. I can go anywhere I want to if I put my mind to it. Mm-hmm. So
tell us a little bit about your book that you want to write.
So I actually started writing in it. It's called the Nia Griffin book, and I'm just talking about my life and my just private, about what I grew up on. Mm-hmm. Just something that I always wanted people to know, is it true? How do you do it? Mm-hmm. The people, I got bullied, but you can't let people define you, because if you know you're beautiful, you know that you can do anything you want to and just put your mind to it. Mm-hmm. And that's how I tell the patient, doesn't matter if you have a disability or not. You may not be perfect, but, I got a job. Pace helped me get a job. Mm-hmm. I got 2 part-time jobs. Mm-hmm. Now one. But Life Kitchen gave me opportunity, so I'm really grateful for them. And then NOU, National Louis University, gave me a job.
And so what have you learned about finances and entrepreneurship?
So finances is just you gotta just build up, your wealth. You just gotta save up. You just gotta be okay, I just look at my parents. I'm oh, look at my mom and dad. Look how much they came from. Mm-hmm. So I just look at you guys. You guys tell me, oh, don't give up your dreams. You're going to accomplish so much. You guys say, you tell me that my kid's gonna be small, and I believe that you tell me that because I know it's true. And I can't wait until I open my own daycare and I can show the families that having a special need young adult child doesn't mean my child gonna always be special. Right. Okay, but yes, the child may get more attention than her normal siblings. Yeah. But I went to college.
Yes, you did.
I got a degree.
Yes.
And I'm going to, I'm gonna play daycare like my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm going to open my own daycare, and I'm gonna plus my butt, and I'm going to get married, have a family. I'm just gonna live the life like a normal person.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing, Nia. And so it sounds like you have the same dreams to be successful just like everybody else. So Jabril, you want to close us out with your last question?
Yes. I can say to you guys are successful. 2 individual black figures that own a business. You guys are successful in my eyes. So how do you find a balance in maintaining grounded, respectful children?
You guys think y'all respectful? This one, you think you're respectful? As I look at John III. For me, it's always been important that So what has transcended over to the business are the same values that we raise our children on.
That's correct.
And so we believe in being excellent, in how God created us. We believe in service. And so at a very young age, I've always reminded each of them, how are you making the world a better place? When they will come home from school, I will ask them, what did you learn today? And what did you do? What do I ask you, Jabril?
Oh,
How'd you change the world?
Yeah, how did you
today?
change the
How'd you change the world today? How did you make this?
I didn't know the answers. I needed those. Play all day in school.
But as you got in order, and then when they said that they didn't make a change or didn't make the world a better place, then I'm calling the principal.
She called the school.
My son said he ain't make the world a better place today.
And she would. G-Tribe. She would call the school in a minute. Even in college. Oh, the festival the other day. I'm calling the school. I'm gonna write a letter. I said, oh boy.
If there was any problem that I had or any uneasiness in my stomach, she was quick to, do I need to book a flight? Or, hold on, I'm gonna get the deal on the phone. Hold on right now. I'm about to merge the calls. Like, so quick.
She would do the same thing. She had always been overprotective over us. When we she'd be like, what happened to your face, up to your eye? Like, she would always say, should I come up to get you? And then we would say, Mom, be fine. It was just,
She said, do I gotta beat somebody up?
She'd be like, Mama, somebody help my baby. So I come in for you. Nia, I had to call the principal. Are you okay? I'd be like,
right.
Are you okay?
That's
I'm fine.
right.
And it was one time where I knew this had her name written all over it. So I was in 5th grade, and our teacher was arranging everybody's desk for each student to sit. She's calling the names and put students where they should be. She gets to my name, she brings her desk all the way by the teacher. And I said, this had nothing but mama's name.
So I guess it's just being super involved, letting them know you care, because they obviously know that I care. I'm just in all of y'all business. But I can't help it. And I think that because they know how much I care, how important they are to me, and I hold them accountable. Like, you are responsible. You are responsible to make this world a better place. I want to be able to say with pride and conviction that my husband and I have made a great contribution to society by raising 4 progressive, honest, service-oriented men and women.
God-fearing. Except this one.
Oh, sometimes.
He gonna pull it.
Yes,
y'all gonna pull it. He'll pull it. He'll be like, hey, look, I was gonna pull this right quick.
Yes. But again, it kind of goes right. It kind of goes back to your quote, which is by Clay Evans.
The late great Dr. Clay Evans always said, God will not call you if he doesn't equip you.
That's right. And so our goal is to obviously make sure that our kids are equipped with the intellectual capital that they need in order to pass the blessing on to their lineage as well as to others in the community and beyond.
That's right. It's not about you. Is the last thing I want to say, that we close out, is that you can't outgive God. And the more you give in your life of yourself, your time, your treasure, God's going to give it back to you threefold. And I bear witness to that. And from that, I've seen you 3 give so much. John gives, but he's discriminatory. He's like, I give to you. I give to you. He got alligator arms. Like, but you 3 are more stories-oriented. But you can't outgive God. So remember that. You'll be successful.
So G-Tribe, as you're going through your entrepreneurial process, just make sure you keep your kids engaged. Make sure you keep them engaged in the process. Educate them on the wins and woes of entrepreneurship. Drop those nuggets on those lessons. Educate them so that they can educate their lineage and educate others.
And bring them on a journey.
Bring them
As
on.
I said before, failure is feedback. When you fail, bring your kids. When I fail things, I tell my kids. My daughter in Nigeria always preached to me when I go through hard trials, even today in our business.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, Dad, it's gonna be
It's
okay.
growing pains.
God's doing this for you to clear out the way." And I'll be like, "Wow,
It's
So
growing pains.
we bring your G-Child, bring your kids along on a journey,
Bring them along.
and tell them about your wins and your losses. And it's gonna be, and the things from the babe's mouth, from their mouths.
Yeah,
are
that's the
poetic.
truth. That's right. So thank you so much, G Tribe. This is season 2, episode 1. Please make sure that you send us your questions on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Secure Podcast. Please subscribe, YouTube, social media, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe and follow, and then email us if you have specific questions at securepodcast@agbfd.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.